Ondo State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested 4 suspected burglars accused of breaking into homes and stealing valuables at the Peace and Joy community situated off Airport Road in Obaile. In a statement issued by the command's public relations officer, DSC Daniel Adamebo, the arrests were triggered by a complaint from a resident who returned from church on Sunday, July 9, 2025, to discover her house burgled. Following the report, NSCDC operatives deployed tracking technology on the SIM card of an Apple iPad stolen during the incident, which led to the arrest of the suspects. Those arrested were identified as 23-year-old students James Emmanuel Ruben, 19-year-old student, Monday Ruben, 21-year-old farmer Jefferson Joshua from Gombe State, and 23-year-old farmer Lucas Joshua, also from Gombe State. Idamebo explained that James Emmanuel, considered a soft target, cooperated with investigators and assisted in apprehending the other suspects. Based on legal advice, he has been granted bail while investigations continue. Items recovered from the suspects included the stolen iPad, household appliances, food items, and clothing belonging to the complainant. Preliminary findings also revealed that the group had been linked to a series of similar break-ins in the area. The corps called on members of the public to remain vigilant and promptly report suspicious activities, noting that community involvement plays a crucial role in reducing crime across the state. Ogun State government on Wednesday reminded cattle owners and herders that the Animal Grazing Regulation and Cattle Ranch Establishments Bill 2020, signed into law by Governor Dapo Abiodun in 2021, is still in place, warning that violators risk severe consequences. The government, in a statement by the Special Advisor to Governor Abiodun on Information and Strategy, Kayode Akinmade, said that the warning became imperative against the backdrop of cases of obstruction of traffic by cattle herders engaging in open grazing across the state. The government decried the continued violation of the law by certain herders in the state, warning that the government would not hesitate to enforce the provisions of the law to the letter. Akinmade said that the law banning open grazing and prescribing a 3-year jail term for violators was passed to address incessant bloody encounters between herders and farmers. He added that the state remained fully committed to modern cattle rearing and farming practices in order to guarantee the safety and security of the people. Oyo State government on Wednesday debunked allegations that it had replaced the car park at Bola Ige International Business Complex, popularly known as Gbagi Market, with new shops and extorted money from unsuspecting traders overnight. The State Commissioner for Investment, Trade, Cooperatives and Industry, Adeniyi Adebisi, disclosed this in a statement by the State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Dutun Oyelade, in Ibadan, the state capital. He said the claim is entirely false, mischievous and an intentional misrepresentation to an ongoing, well-planned redevelopment project. Adebisi explained that the Gbagi Market redevelopment effort is being spearheaded in phases by the state government under the supervision of the ministry in close partnership with the market leadership and representatives of zonal traders associations. The commissioner said the portion of land being referred to was not an official car park but an underutilized area, prone to illegal vending and security risks. He said following broad consultation with stakeholders, it was approved for formal store development to promote orderliness and improve access and safety within the market environment. Adebisi reiterated that no trader would be unjustly displaced and the project will be executed in line with the master plan agreed upon with all key market stakeholders. He therefore urged members of the public, particularly media outlets, to verify facts before spreading reports capable of inciting public interest or misleading residents. The Commission also encouraged market leaders and traders to channel concerns or inquiries, to the Market Support Desk at the Ministry or reach out directly to the designated liaison officers. Kwara State government has denied claims that it is building a new government house in Ilorin. This was contained in a statement signed by Kunle Gbadeyan, Press Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Ilorin, on Wednesday. According to the statement, the clarification came on Tuesday during the official handing over of the site for the construction of new office buildings to the contractor, Mapes Construction Limited, in the state capital. Speaking at the brief ceremony, the Commissioner for Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Segun Ogunshola, said the ongoing project is not a new government house, but additional office spaces meant to accommodate more civil and public servants. He explained that the new one-story structure located next to the Deputy Governor's office will include several offices, a conference room, and other working facilities. He also added that the initiative is part of Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak's commitment to providing a more functional and decent working environment for government workers. Dr. Ogunchola assured that the project will be properly monitored to ensure it is completed within the set one-year time frame. He urged the contractor to deliver quality work according to the approved specifications. National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives Kwara chapter on Wednesday joined the ongoing nationwide strike to demand improved welfare, fair allowances and better working conditions. ATM reports that industrial action follows the directive from the national body of the association, which called for full compliance and solidarity across all 36 states and the FCT. In an interview with newsmen in Ilorin on Wednesday, the chairman of NAN Kwara State Council, Alhaji Aminu Shehu, confirmed the commencement of the strike in the state. He noted that the Kwara chapter joined the strike in obedience to the national directive in spite of efforts made by the state government to improve the welfare of nurses. Shehu also commended Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak for increasing nurses' salaries in the state for the third time in line with federal directives. Also speaking, chairperson of the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital, chapter of NAN, Hajia Miriam Abdulaziz, said the strike followed the expiration of a 15-day ultimatum given to the federal government. She emphasized that many of the union's long-standing demands had not been met and that the working conditions for nurses remain poor. Chairman of the Bauchi State Independent Electoral Commission, Ahmed Hadawa, has passed away. According to a press release issued on Wednesday by the Special Advisor, Media and Publicity to Bauchi State Governor, Mokhtar Gidado, said with deep sorrow and a profound sense of loss, Governor Bala Mohammed extends his heartfelt condolences over the death The statement revealed that Makama died on Tuesday, July 29, 2025, in Abuja after a brief illness. He maintained that as chairman of BASIEC, Hadawa played a critical role in deepening democratic governance at the grassroots through the promotion of transparent and credible electoral processes. The media aide stated that Mohammed describes the late Hadawa as a man of wisdom, humility, and exemplary leadership, whose wealth of experience and service orientation will be sorely missed at this critical time in the democratic journey. The governor extends his heartfelt condolences to the immediate family of the deceased, but the Bauchi State Independent Electoral Commission, friends, associates, and the entire people of Hadawa and Misau Emirate Councils. He prays that Almighty Allah forgives his shortcomings, grant him eternal rest in Ajanatul Firdaus, and give his loved ones the strength to bear with the great loss. Independent National Electoral Commission has warned against multiple and underage registration in Kebbi ahead of the August 18 commencement date for continuous voters registration. The INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner, REC in Kebbi, Abubakar Sakim Pawa Dambo, gave the warning while briefing newsmen in Benin, Kebbi on Wednesday. He warned that the INEC will not condone multiple registrations, registration by proxy, underage registration, and all other illegal forms of getting registered as the Commission begins TVR on August 18. Sakim Pawa Dambo added that eligible voters who had lost their voter cards, misplaced their cards, or whose cards were mutilated or changed addresses or residences could also present themselves for the physical registration. Sakem Pawa Dambo also revealed that the INEC registered 2,032.41 eligible voters before the 2023 general elections. Communal clash between Fulani and Gwari residents in Gatafa village, Gwagwalada area, Council of the Federal Capital Territory, has left one person dead and many villagers homeless. The incident, which happened on Tuesday, led to the burning of at least 31 houses in the village. It was reportedly caused by a misunderstanding between a Fulani man, Shaibu Adamu, and a Gwari farmer, Saud, over access through a farmland part. Security analyst Makama shared details of the incident in a post on X on Wednesday. According to him, the clash began when Adamu tried to pass through Shaibu's farmland. The farmer refused, asking him to use another route. This led to an argument and a physical fight between the two men. The news of his death triggered a reprisal attack by angry Gwari youths who stormed the Fulani settlement in the village, burning down 31 houses and injuring at least 3 people. Soldiers and other security personnel were later deployed to the area to stop the violence and bring the situation under control. Members of the Plateau State House of Assembly have unanimously endorsed President Bola Tinubu ahead of the 2027 general elections. The lawmakers who gave the president their backing during a solidarity visit to the new chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Professor Nentawe Yewada, in Abuja, also issued a stern warning to opposition parties to stay away from the state and not to bother visiting to campaign for the 2027 presidential election. They declared that the ruling APC has already won the state in advance. During the visit, Speaker of the Assembly, Daniel Nanlanlon Gapil, said the lawmakers will use every arsenal within their power to mobilize and campaign for Tinubu, as well as galvanize all the structures of the party in the state to make sure he wins. Gapil noted that despite the state being governed by a PDP governor, the APC is strong enough to oust the incumbent from office due to the guilt of defections from the PDP to the APC in recent times. Harping on the strength of the APC in the state, Gapil said the structures to return Tinubu in 2027 have been put in place. Responding, Yewada urged the lawmakers to extend their dominance beyond Plateau to win the election for Tinubu, insisting that the APC is still on the right party to fix Nigerians' problems. He also urged them to do everything possible to wrest power from the PDP and return Plateau to the APC. Katsina State Police Command has fought 2 separate kidnap attempts in Sabuwa local government area of the state, rescuing a total of 28 victims. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the command spokesperson DSP Abubakar Sadiq revealed that the first incident occurred on Tuesday at about 9:24 a.m. when a distress call was received from a Good Samaritan, reporting that suspected bandits armed with dangerous weapons had blocked the Sabuwa-Kaya road at Ino Junction and abducted 14 individuals. All 14 victims were rescued on horse. However, the bandits shot and killed on 28 July. Another distress call alerted police that armed bandits had attacked Zagi village in Sabuwa local government area, abducting several residents. Again, the DPO led a rapid response team that engaged the attackers in a fierce exchange of gunfire, successfully foiling the kidnap attempt and rescuing another 14 victims. 2 rustled cows were also recovered during the operation. Regrettably, 2 individuals were killed by the bandits during the attack. Sadiq stated that efforts are ongoing to track down and apprehend the fleeing suspects. Police command in Niger says it has arrested a 10-man syndicate in Minna suspected of specializing in international human trafficking. The syndicate is believed to be acting as travel agents under false pretenses and trafficking unsuspecting victims to different countries. This is contained in a statement by its public relations officer, SP Wasiu Abiodun, in Minna on Wednesday. According to Abiodun, the suspects were arrested on July 18 at about 12:30 p.m. based on credible intelligence received on the activities along 1 to 3 quarters Minna. The suspects include Sukou Dombia Teamo Balbe, Hashimu Dauda Kolu, Usman Dombia, and Musa Konate. Laminu Watara, Rasen Diouf, Adamu Zabo, Al-Hassan Konde, and Dango Aminatu. During interrogation, they claimed that they had come to Nigeria for an online business. The statement said all the suspects and the victims were transferred to Interpol for further investigation and other necessary actions. Northern Senators Forum has condemned the brutal killing of at least 35 civilians in the Kaura Namoda local government area of Zamfara State. In a condolence message issued in Abuja on Wednesday, the Forum chairman, Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua, condoled with the people of Kaura Namoda, particularly the families of victims who were murdered despite ransom payments. Yaradua described the incident as a painful reminder of Nigeria's deepening security challenges. The Northern Senators said they stand in solidarity with Zamfara residents and prayed for the repose of the departed. The lawmakers also called for urgent security action to prevent a recurrence. While commending the federal government's efforts, the forum urged further support for security agencies. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Please stay with us. News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of DCG Olumode Samuel Adeyemi as the new substantive Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, effective 14th August 2025. The announcement was made by the Civil Defense Correctional, Fire and Immigration Services Board in a statement signed by its Secretary Abdul Malik Jibrin. The appointment follows the imminent retirement of the current Controller General, Engineer Abdul Ganiyu Ji Olola, who stepped down on 11th August 2025 upon attaining the age of 60. Adeyemi, who transferred his service from the FCT Fire Service to the Federal Fire Service, rose through the ranks to become the Deputy Controller General of Fire in the Human Resource Directorate at the service headquarters over the course of his career. He has completed all mandatory in-service trainings, command courses, and other professional programs, both within and outside the country. He has served in various capacities and is a member of or fellow of several professional associations, including the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, the Institute of Corporate Administration of Nigeria, the Institute of Public Administration of Nigeria and the Chartered Institute of Treasury Management of Nigeria. The board also expressed appreciation to the retiring Controller General Engineer Abdul Ganiyu Jaji Olola for his outstanding contributions to the development of the Federal Fire Service, acknowledging his dedication, commitment, and the numerous initiatives he championed during his tenure. House of Representatives has thrown its weight behind the establishment of new vocational and technical institutions as a strategic step to tackle youth unemployment in Nigeria. Speaking at a public hearing in Abuja, the chairman of the House Committee on Federal Polytechnic and Higher Technical Education, Honorable Fuad Kayode Lagude, called for bold ideas and innovative strategies that will equip young Nigerians with practical skills, technical expertise, and entrepreneurial knowledge for the modern workforce. The hearing focused on 3 bills seeking to establish technical and vocational institutions across the country, including Federal College of Entrepreneurship and Skills Acquisition, Zaki, Biam, Benue State; National Institute for Technical and Vocational Education, Bogoro, Bauchi State; Federal Vocational and Skills Acquisition College, Laro, Ogun State. Lagoda emphasized that the bills aim to promote entrepreneurship, create jobs, and empower Nigerian youths to become employable and self-reliant, especially within their local communities. He noted that the House supports the establishment of training institutions that will produce skilled technicians and mid-level professionals to drive the country's industrialization and development. Declaring the public hearing open, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, represented by Honorable Awa Gwadabe, said Nigeria must shift its educational focus towards practical and technical skills if it hopes to address the alarming rate of youth unemployment. Quoting statistics, the speaker said about 55% of Nigerian youth are either unemployed or underemployed, largely due to a mismatch between their education and the needs of the job market. He stressed that Nigeria's development hinges on the integration of science, technology, and vocational education in its education system, affirming that the 10th House of Representatives, through its legislative agenda, is committed to ensuring that technical education in Nigeria is not only qualitative but also accessible to all.
I strongly believe that our gathering here today is important for these bills because they seek to promote entrepreneurship studies and skill acquisition to empower Nigerians with the skills to become employable, create jobs, and excel anywhere, particularly in their various constituencies.
In recent years, there has been an increased recognition of the important role for science, technical, and vocational education plays in national development. With the emergence of a new technologies such as artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, and big data, it is no longer sufficient for our educational institution to merely impact theoretically knowledge.
As we all know, the world is moving towards skill and skill acquisition, and Nigeria in particular, at a population growing at over 3-4%, and unemployment rate the way we have it, I think it's all been agreed that one way at which we can reduce unemployment is to ensure that our younger ones, who constitute the greater percentage of our population, have, acquired skill.
The issues of insecurity and instability has brought us back. Therefore, it becomes necessary for us to look at a way out, and one of which is to come up with very, very important bills such as establishment of vocational and technical education.
The time has come to move beyond the outdated expectation of white-collar jobs. There is an urgent need for all stakeholders to promote skill acquisition as a tool to combat unemployment, drug abuse, banditry, and other social challenges.
Stakeholders, including lawmakers, representatives of United Nations Development Programme, as well as activists, have called on Nigerians to support the bill seeking to create 182 additional legislative seats exclusively for women in Nigeria. The call was made during a press briefing at the National Assembly complex in Abuja. Chairman of the House Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development, Honorable Filet Ogbara, decried the low representation of women in governance, particularly in the legislature, despite women constituting nearly half of the population of Nigeria. She said the proposed reserved seats for women bill aims to address this imbalance by guaranteeing a specific number of seats for women in the national and state assemblies. According to Ogbara, the bill is not merely a legislative effort, but a bold commitment towards building a more inclusive democracy, adding that the bill proposes 1 additional seat per state, including the FCT, to be reserved for women in both chambers of the National Assembly. It also recommends 3 additional reserved seats for women in each state House of Assembly. She noted that the bill includes provisions to ensure the participation of women from diverse backgrounds, including young women, women with disabilities, and those from marginalized communities. In her remarks, Senator Ireti Kingibe, representing the Federal Capital Territory, the sentiment she urged women to mobilize both among themselves and with male allies to push for the bill's passage. Kingibe also pointed out that Nigeria often finds itself at a disadvantage in international legislative fora due to its poor representation of women.
The reserved seat bill for women is not just about numbers. It is about giving women a voice in decision-making processes that affect their lives and communities. By increasing women's representation, we can ensure that their perspectives, their views, needs, rights are adequately addressed in policy formulation and implementation. This bill aligns with international commitments to gender equality, including the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal 5, which calls for achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls.
The seats, we must have them. So I advocate and call on all the women of this country to please go out, speak to the men, speak to everybody you can speak to get their support for these 74 reserved seats. Then I would also like to point out to everybody else in the nation, you know, this isn't just about women. It's about the whole country. It's about the development of the country. It is shown everywhere that where there are more female representation, the countries are better developed economically.
Country representative of the United Nations Development Programme, Elsie Atafua, commended the leadership of the 10th National Assembly for championing the bill, saying that this is a defining moment in Nigeria's democratic evolution. She said it also highlights the leadership and resilience of Nigerian women across all sectors, including the Super Falcons' performance at the last Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Atafua, who noted that women currently hold less than 5% of legislative seats in Nigeria, described this disparity as a call to dismantle systemic barriers and foster inclusive governance. She pledged to continue support for the UNDP toward the success of the bill. Also speaking, Princess Nikki Onyeri, Secretary General of the Association of Women Traditional Title Holders in Nigeria, described the bill as timely and essential, while lamenting the exclusion of nearly half the population from the decision-making table. She said the inclusion of more qualified women in leadership would positively impact the GDP and development across sectors.
Despite making up nearly half of Nigeria's population, women currently occupy fewer than 5% of seats in the National Assembly. This isn't just a gap, it is a call to action. A call to dismantle structural barriers, disrupt the status quo, and build a more inclusive and just governance system. So the reserved seats bill, in our opinion, is a transformative response to that call, a call to deal with dismantling structural barriers, disrupting the status quo. It affirms the principle that women belong at the table, not as guests, but as decision makers, not as exceptions, but as equals.
I want Nigerian women to know the movement, this movement we have for the advancement of women must continue. Honorable Kafilat, we need more of you in Parliament. I pray that the women that come to represent these 6 seats by God's grace, the special seats for women by God's grace will come and it will be a reality. But the women we choose must be a voice. They must be voices for many other.
Nigerians in Diaspora Commission has called for calm over the protest by some Ghanaians, alleging that Nigerians are behind the crimes in the country. In a statement, NEEDCOM Chairman CEO Abike Dabiri Erewa faulted what she described as the blanket generalization of Nigerians in Ghana as criminals. A viral video showed some Ghanaians protesting and calling on their authorities to expel Nigerians from the country over claims that their behavior was not in line with Ghanaian norms. However, Dabiri Erewa has called on Nigerians in Ghana not to be provoked by the action or resort to violence. She assured them that the country's authorities are handling the issue while advising against inciting words on both sides. She said such comments can escalate matters. She asked Nigerians to disregard videos circulating that Nigerian shops and properties are being destroyed by Ghanaians. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Diaspora and Non-Governmental Organizations, Aniekan Basi, has condemned the recent protest in Ghana targeting Nigerians, describing it as deeply disturbing and contrary to the spirit of African brotherhood. Senator Basi, a member of the 6th Legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament, in a statement on Tuesday, called on both Nigeria and Ghana to maintain the long-standing bond of friendship, mutual respect and regional cooperation that binds the two nations. Inspector General of Police Kayode Ogbetokun on Monday decorated 12 senior officers with the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police and 16 Deputy Commissioners with the rank of Commissioner of Police. Recognition of merit,
retired very senior officers,
he noted that the
Von
process
Winton Chukwuemeka,
on fairness
and DIG Abdulmajid, Obi Agoda, Member House of Representatives. That you are witnessing another decoration
ceremony of officers recently elevated to the prestigious ranks of Assistant Inspectors General of Police and Commissioners of Police. Today is more than a ceremonial gathering. It's an affirmation of commitment, discipline, and excellence. We are here not merely to place new badges on deserving shoulders, but to publicly acknowledge the tireless service, professional integrity, and unshaken loyalty of those who have given themselves to the service of our nation through the Nigerian Police Force. On behalf of the leadership of the force, I extend my sincere congratulations to the 12 officers promoted to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police and the 16 officers promoted to the rank of Commissioner of Police. Your promotions were not arbitrary. They are hard-won achievements, the result of consistent merit, unrelenting dedication, and a clear demonstration of leadership capacity. Let there be no doubt, these elevations were earned. They reflect a renewed commitment of this administration to fairness, transparency, and meritocracy in our internal processes. Promotion must not be viewed merely as recognition of past efforts. It is, more importantly, a call to greater responsibility. The higher one ascends, the weightier the expectations. With your new ranks come broader mandates, heightened scrutiny, and deeper demands on your leadership. You are now positioned to influence the tone and direction of policing across the country. And this requires not just administrative competence, but moral authority and vision. I urge you to embody the highest ideals of our profession. Let your leadership reflect courage, discipline, empathy, and above all, integrity.
He urged the newly promoted officers to lead with discipline, empathy, and integrity, emphasizing that the new ranks come with greater responsibility and public scrutiny. The IGP also reaffirms the force's commitment to officer welfare, innovation, and collaboration with sister agencies and communities. Giving a vote of thanks on behalf of the newly promoted officers, AIG Emmanuel Ade Aina expressed deep appreciation to the IGP for recommending them to the Police Service Commission and to the PSC for finding them worthy of the elevation.
Celebrate some of our most dedicated and exemplary senior police officers whom the IGP has considered worthy to recommend to the Police Service Commission for promotion to the enviable ranks of Assistant Inspectors General of Police and Commissioners of Police, which became vacant by the statutory retirement of some of our senior officers who bowed out of service recently. By this promotion, the affected officers become members of the police policy makers, saddled with the administrative and operational running of police commands and formations. This, no doubt, is laudable and commendable. As the saying goes, promotion for one is promotion for all. The elevation of these officers to the rank of AIG and CP has trickled down as other officers of the Nigeria Police Force consequentially benefit from the promotion, cutting across all ranks. The summary of beneficiaries of this batch of promotions are 12 AIGs, 16 CPs, 28 DCPs, 150 ACPs, 45 CSPs, 45 SPs, and 4,708 ASPs. The officers that are to be decorated with their new rank of Assistant Inspectors General of Police will be coordinating activities at our respective zonal commands and formations, in line with the mandate of our untiring and people-friendly Inspector General of Police.
UK government has strongly condemned the killing of 38 abducted residents in Banga village, Zamfara state, despite the payment of a 50 million naira ransom. The acting British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Jill Lever, described the atrocity as an unspeakable crime that undermines mental and physical well-being and retards national economic progress. Lever extended condolences to the families of the victims and the people of Zamfara state, calling for urgent action against such violence. The remarks were made during a briefing under the state's expansion program for the Anti-Kidnap Fusion Cell, a collaborative security initiative between the UK government and Nigeria's National Counter-Terrorism Center. It then gathered that the killings in Banga village occurred after armed bandits led by notorious kingpin Dan Sadia abducted 56 residents despite receiving 50 million naira in ransom. The assailants released only 18 victims and killed the remaining 38. Chairman of Kaura Namoda local government area, Manea Haidara Kaura, confirmed the incident and said the released victims were hospitalized. Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has strongly criticized governors in the southeast over what it described as a disturbing leadership vacuum amidst escalating bloodshed, ritual killings and insecurity that are gradually turning the region into a war zone. In a statement issued by its national coordinator, Comrade Emmanuel Owobiko, the group condemned recent violent incidents across the region, including the massacre in Aron di Kuzozu, fresh attacks in Ehime Mbano, and the ritual killing of a pregnant nurse in Anambra State. According to Huriwa, at least 7 persons were slaughtered in coordinated attacks on Ejezi, Omwa, Lauma, and Ndia Kuwata Ono communities in Idiato North local government area of Imo State, allegedly by suspected Eastern Security Network operatives. The group specifically criticized Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma for failing to visit the affected communities or issue a public statement, noting that while residents mourned the losses, the governor was seen hosting the Super Falcons in Abuja. Beyond the violent attacks, Horiwa expressed outrage over the ritual murder of a pregnant nurse in Ogbunike, Anambra State, whose dismembered body was found in a soakaway. Police investigations revealed that her body parts were sold to native doctors and a female suspect had been arrested. Orewa faulted the Southeast Governors Forum for failing to establish a regional security outfit similar to the It called for an emergency summit involving traditional rulers, civil society groups, Ohanese Indigbo, and other stakeholders under the leadership of Senator Mbata. Chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Mbuba Mawa, retired, has raised concern over the high number of people using drugs in Nigeria's northwest region, saying over 3 million people in the region are struggling with drug abuse. He shared this information during a two-day interactive session on government-citizen engagement held in Kaduna. According to Mawa, drug abuse is one of the top 3 problems affecting Nigeria. He said a recent report by the United Nations shows that 14 million Nigerians are currently battling drug addiction. He warned that drug abuse is not only destroying families and youths, but also fueling crimes like kidnapping, banditry, and terrorism. Mawa also said that President Bola Tinubu's administration has helped the NDLEA fight drug abuse more effectively by providing more support, modern equipment, and increasing their workforce. 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, has debunked issuing the viral separate statements currently making the rounds on social media and online platforms. His media aide, Omar Ibrahim, made the clarification in a press release on Wednesday. One of the viral statements allegedly claims Obi denied returning to the People's Democratic Party and reaffirmed his commitment to the African Democratic Congress. The author suggested that he has been offered the position of National Organizing Secretary in the ADC. Ibrahim, however, clarified that neither of the two purported statements originated from Obi or his media office. The former Anambra governor, who has remained a subject of widespread political speculation, continues to stay focused on his mission to build a new Nigeria of our dreams. The media office therefore urged the public to disregard any statement purported to come from him outside his media office or official handle. Factional National Secretary of the Labour Party, Umar Farouk, on Wednesday said Peter Obi may lose the opportunity to become the party's presidential candidate in 2027 if he continues to socialize with the African Democratic Congress. Farouk, who made the statement in an interview, stressed that the LP will give Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed a chance to contest for president. He stressed that the party's presidential ticket is not reserved for anyone. Expressing displeasure with Obi's association with leaders of the coalition-backed African Democratic Congress, Farouk maintained that the LP's 2027 presidential ticket will be contested. The factional national secretary declared Baba Ahmed the party's 2023 vice presidential candidate. He is qualified as his principal, Obi. Farouk's comment is coming barely a week after Baba Ahmed declared his interest in a 2027 presidential race should Obi decide not to contest. However, Baba Ahmed, who said he is not desperate to become president, also reaffirmed his support for Obi, saying the former governor of Anambra State deserves another chance to contest on the platform of the Labour Party. Lagos High Court, sitting in Ikeja, has granted the former managing director of AMCON, Ahmed Kuru, permission to travel abroad for urgent medical treatment. Justice Mojisola Dada also ruled that the defendant's international passports be released to enable him to travel to London, United Kingdom, for treatment. Though the nature of the emails was not disclosed in court, counsel to the defendant, Oyinka Badejo Okunsanya, SAN designate, had told the judge that the ex parte application for her client to be allowed to travel abroad disclosed facts that necessitated extreme urgency. Counsel to the EFCC, Wahab Shitu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, had no objection to the application. However, he raised an alarm that the Anti-Graft Commission has an intelligence report of attempts by the first and third defendants to dispose of some of the aircrafts associated with Arik Air, the subject matter of the criminal proceedings. He wondered if the travel application was not an alibi to travel and sell some of the aircraft, which are said to be in France, but urged the court to order status quo ante bellum and to determine the application on its merits. And now to our business news. Nigerian Senate, through its Committee on Public Accounts, chaired by Senator Aliyu Wadada Aliyu, has given the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited a 3-week deadline to respond to queries regarding an alleged 210 trillion naira unaccounted for amount arising from audit reports between 2017 and 2023. The amount consists of roughly 103 trillion naira in liabilities and 107 trillion in assets receivables, all needing detailed explanation and accountability. The committee clarified that the 210 trillion naira is not missing or stolen, but remains unaccounted for, explaining the need for the NNPCL to clarify the discrepancies in their financial statements, which have raised serious governance and transparency concerns.
And to also say, GCEO and everyone here, dynamism of life has brought us to where we are, with quite a lot of changes, some unprecedented, and most yet to be comprehended, all enveloped by the renewed hope. Talking about renewed hope, the administration of Senator Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu brings to the table quite a lot of changes that are not that much comprehended, because changes are usually resisted by the people. There has never been a time that an administration of a system of Nigeria has ever been so highly in need of funds like now, because of the unprecedented changes introduced under the various policies we have. And so, at all levels and in all ramifications, it cannot continue to be business as usual. The man, the president, Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for the good of Nigeria, needs all the support. And on this side of the divide, there is nothing we cannot offer him for Nigeria to succeed. So this makes it imperative for the comments of my colleagues to be taken very seriously. From the comments, miscommunication or communication has been pointed out to be one of the issues. I sit here on this side of the divide with all sense of responsibility to say that it is not from this end. So if there will be any miscommunication as far as this is concerned, it may have to do, it definitely has to do with your own side.
The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPCL, Engineer Bayo Ojulari, apologized for previous failures to appear before the committee and requested additional time to thoroughly address the 19 queries raised due to the complexities involved. This 3-week extension follows earlier deadlines at all team matter, including a 10-day ultimatum earlier in June and July 2025, which NMPCL had requested extensions beyond, citing management retreats and the need for more time to gather evidence.
You've gotten me in a significant and very huge national assignment, which I've been grappling with production, Mr. Chairman, sir, which we all need for prosperity. I've been running around everywhere trying to look for how to make sure that we arrest the decline. And now that I'm aware of this issue and also the explanation you've just given now, it changes my own perspective completely in terms of what the real focus and what the real concern is. And I would like to plead with you, Mr. Chairman, sir, and the senators, to please give me some time to quick look into this specific perspective that you have given. Personally, I need to understand that the CEO, I need to understand these issues myself so that I can ensure appropriate representation whenever we have to appear before you. I will also make a plea, Mr. Chairman, sir. The technicalities of these details, if you could permit me to ensure that at least I have a crack team of about 3 to 4 people specifically to dig into these questions. I was asking my CFO if he has a copy, because I don't think, no matter how much we try, that we can give you satisfactory response on those questions right now. But if we can allow us to have the team with us, and if they're able to work with any group you think appropriate, at least get the detail properly reconciled. If you can give us that privilege, Mr. Chairman, that would be very much appreciated. I think today, and you're probably right, part of it was my fault, because I still think there are some questions we ourselves need to ask them, sir. So when I was coming, I asked my team that I want to come here. Of course, I didn't realize some of the context to come and make sure that I take responsibility fully for all the things that we needed to do. So I didn't push. So I will make that correction in our next appearance.
House of Representatives has summoned the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adeboyega Oyetola, and the Managing Director of the National Inland Waterways Authority, Bola Oyebanji, to appear before it over anomalies surrounding the multi-billion naira inland ports project. Chairman of the Ad Hoc Committee on the Rehabilitation and Operationalization of the Barrow Inland Port, Honorable Saidu Abdullahi, who issued the summons during a session in Abuja, also directed National Inland Waterways, NIWA, to provide all relevant documents relating to the planning, construction, handover, and current state of the port, which was initiated to ease the pressure on seaports and open up inland waterway transportation. The committee gave NIWA and the Ministry Marine and Blue Economy 7 days to submit all relevant documents, including contract papers, project scope, payment history, inspection reports, photographs, and any correspondence indicating the port was ever officially declared operational. Lawmakers at the session expressed disappointment over what they described as inconsistencies in claims, but about the port's completion and usability, stressing that the project cannot be allowed to waste away despite the billions already spent on it. They also queried why a port said to have been completed and handed over would remain non-operational, especially as there was no evidence of cargo movement or accessibility via road. The committee agreed to go beyond oral assurances and examine actual evidence of readiness and functionality, noting that the Barrow Port project, which has reportedly got billions of naira, was originally conceived to decongest seaports and facilitate inland water cargo operations. The committee said it is unacceptable that after such huge public expenditure, no value was being delivered to the Nigerian people, and also resolved to pay a follow-up visit to the Barrow Port for further independent assessment and verification.
We're directing all the MDs that will be invited to course appearance once they receive our date, which will explicitly state the date and time of the engagement. Yes, it's actually mandatory because we're taking this assignment very seriously. We'll make ourselves readily available to engage with major stakeholders in order to bring this Barrow port into reality. So we'll write to them again to extend another invitation. Hopefully, within the next 1 week, we should have another engagement. And it is expected that once our letter get to them, let them respond to it. Let them appear whenever we decide that they should come to appear before this committee. It's very, very important. This is a very crucial national assignment, and I think it deserves all the necessary attention of the MDS.
The agency have to appear and the accounting officers have to appear. That shows they respect Parliament. And also, the Minister of Transport is our brother, colleague, who was in the Senate. So we expect better collaboration and understanding.
The National Inland Waterways Authority attributed the continued non-operation of the multi-billion-naira Barrow Inland Port to severe access limitations, siltation of the waterways, vandalized rail links, and security vulnerabilities, despite the project's physical completion. Speaking on behalf of the NIWA Managing Director during the meeting, General Manager, Ports and Environmental Services, Engineer Agbahe Fidelis, said the facility, although commissioned in 2019 by former President Muhammadu Buhari, has remained idle due to a combination of critical infrastructure deficits. He demanded that agencies such as the Ministry of Works and Nigeria Railway Corporation that failed to show up for the meeting must ensure they attend the next one.
So unlocking Barrow Port will demand a federal approach. It will demand ensuring streamlined implementation and efficient operationalization. NIWA as an agency is prepared to guide all of us in this phase, ensuring that the port will boost economic growth and national prosperity.
And that's the Global News for tonight. I am Francis Neka. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms, Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress.
Across the ocean, to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert